Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. We're going through Genesis right now. We're actually in chapter 31, and it's talking today about, but God has seen my hardship. All right, and this is taken from Genesis 31, verses 22 through 42. Again, it's a longer section of Scripture today, but we need to read all that so we have a context of what's happening here. You're going to see there's a conflict happening here. We talked about yesterday and the day before where Jacob and his family and everything he had, he took off. He left. He made sure he left when Laban was out, away for a while, for a few days. I believe he was shearing the sheep. And so he took all that stuff and he left. But Laban is going to come back and he's going to go, oh, great, I lost my best worker, and all my two daughters are gone, and my grandkids are all gone. And he goes after him, and he's mad, okay? And it's gonna come to a head here. But in the end, you're gonna see Jacob says, but God has seen my hardship. All right, so let's read here. Verse 22, on the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Taking his relatives with him, he pursued Jacob for 7 days and caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Okay, so it was 3 days it took for the message to get out to Laban that Jacob had left. Okay, then he's like, oh no. And so he takes his relatives and hightails it after him. It takes 7 days to catch up with him. So this is 10 days have gone by that Jacob has been traveling here. Then God came to Laban, the Aramean, in a dream at night and said to him, be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good nor bad. So God comes to Laban and says, he's mine. You don't say anything to him. Verse 25, Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country of Gilead when Laban overtook him, and Laban and his relatives camped there too. Then Laban said to Jacob, what have you done? You have deceived me, and you have carried off my daughters like captives in the war. Why did you run off secretly and deceive me? Why didn't you tell me so I could send you away with joy and singing to the music of timbrels and harps? You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye. You have done a foolish thing. I have the power to harm you, but last night the God of your father said to me, be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. Now you have gone off because you long to return to your father's household. But why did you steal my gods? Okay, he's rebuking him here in a way, saying you just took off. Well, Jacob had good reason to take off. He'd asked to take off before, and Jacob said, "Oh, you work for me, and you can have the speckled sheep." And that's when he changed the wages a bunch of times. All right, so he said, "Okay, I can understand you leaving now because God told me that, but why'd you take my gods?" Let's see what happens here. Verse 31, Jacob answered Laban, I was afraid because I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find anyone who has your gods, that person shall not live. In the presence of our relatives, see for yourself whether there is anything of yours here with me, and if so, take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the gods. Jacob is not aware that Rachel has the gods, and he's just like, I'm okay. Everything I have is legitimate, and I'm not going to steal your idols. But he says, if anyone did it, and he's so sure of it, he says, if anyone did it, they're dead. All right. Verse 33, so Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the tent of the two female servants, but he found nothing. After he came out of Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household gods and put them inside her camel's saddle and was sitting on them. Laban searched throughout everything in the tent, but found nothing. Okay, he searched every place, but found nothing. He's ending up at Rachel's tent here. Rachel said to her father, oh, don't be angry, my lord, that I cannot stand up in your presence. I'm having my period. So he searched, but could not find the household gods. Okay. She had the excuse. We don't know if she was having her period or not, but she said she was. So he was like, I'm not touching that. I'm staying far away from that. Jacob was angry and took Laban to task. What is my crime, asked Laban. How have I wronged you that you hunt me down? Now that you have searched through all my goods, what have you found that belongs to your household? Put it here in front of your relatives and mine, and let them judge between the two of us. Jacob is now getting angry, and you're going to see the anger is building. This is building for years, the way he's been treated here. And now he's at the boiling point, okay? And he's like, to him, the gods aren't there. Why would he take those gods? And now he's mad because he got, searched that Laban doesn't even trust him with that. Verse 38, I have been with you for 20 years now. Your sheep and goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten the rams from your flocks. I did not bring you animals torn by wild beasts. I bore the loss myself, and you demanded payment from me for whatever was stolen by day or night. This was my situation. The heat consumed me in the daytime and the cold at night, and the sleep fled from my eyes. It was like this for 20 years. I was in your household. I worked for you for 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flocks. And you changed my wages 10 times. All right. So he's going off on him now. And saying all this stuff, even the stuff that just died on their own, I repaid it, and I shouldn't have had to do that. There's a certain cost of doing business that I shouldn't have to pay, but I did, okay? And then he's like, I was the one out there working in the fields, you weren't. And then how all this time he worked for him, and then changing the wages 10 times, okay? Verse 42, if the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been with me, you would surely have sent me away empty-handed. But God has seen my hardship and the toil of my hands, and last night he rebuked you. Okay. Jacob just went through this big speech here, saying how Laban had treated him badly all this time. And he was mad about it. Okay. But in the end, he says, but God saw my hardship. Okay, so he took care of me. He saw how you were treating me, but God took care of me. And that's the big thing that we can learn from this thing. You can go through a lot of hardship and stuff, but God will take care of you. Whether in this life or in the next life, in eternity, I don't know when, but God will take care of you. All right, thanks for watching. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Genesis. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.